What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got DC talking about Jon Jones at heavyweight, Chatri Sityodtong on Dana White, Giga Chikadze trash talking, and much more. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. Now let's get into it. Daniel Cormier says Jon Jones will fight for heavyweight title this year and will lose. It remains to be seen what happens with Jon Jones in the UFC's heavyweight division, but his former rival, Daniel Cormier, has a few predictions. For 2022, Cormier believes that Bones will fight and lose in the heavyweight division. Jones, who hasn't fought since he defended his light heavyweight title in February 2020 against Dominic Reyes, has been eyeing a move to heavyweight since then, and even vacated his light heavyweight title to do so. He hit a few snags along the way, including a public spat with the UFC over compensation for a potential clash with champion Francis Ngannou, and an arrest in September. This is what Cormier said on his ESPN show, DC and RC, this week about Jones in the heavyweight division.
I believe that Jon Jones will fight at heavyweight, and he'll fight for the belt, but he'll lose to Cyril Gane or Francis Ngannou. And I just think that the time away with the weight difference and those guys being who they are, that's the problem. It's not that Jones has gotten worse. It's just that these guys are a different level of heavyweight.
There you have it. While Cormier believes that Bones will actually fight this year, the guys he would actually be taking on have been in the cage more recently, have consistently been competing at the top of the division, and just have simply been improving. For Jones, according to Cormier, it won't just be a case of ring rust. It's simply that the heavyweights he'll be taking on are a higher caliber of fighter than Jones will believe he's taking on. Still, Jones is an athletic specimen and one of the GOATs of the sport who has looked downright dominant for the better part of a decade as a light heavyweight. Do you agree with Cormier's prediction that Jones will fight at heavyweight this year and lose? Or do you disagree and believe he'll fight and beat any of the top heavyweights? Or do you think the UFC won't even book Bones at all in 2022? Chatri Sityodtong believes Dana White doesn't know anything about fighting. Chatri Sityodtong is the founder and owner of One Championship, one of the other big MMA promotions in the world, based in Singapore. The promotion is known for throwing mixed combat sporting events with shows that include high-level MMA as well as Muay Thai and kickboxing. In fact, some would say that One Championship is the premier stand-up promotion right now. Either way, Sityodtong is a former Muay Thai fighter himself who hails from Thailand and has made it big in the business world, which has allowed him to start One Championship about a decade ago. That's why, in a recent Instagram video, Chatri was seen hitting pads with a caption that read, "Who wants to see Chatri versus Dana?" Since that video was posted earlier this week, Chatri was asked to come on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, and he was asked flat out if he was calling out Dana White personally for a fight. And while he didn't say no, he shared a few of his thoughts about the UFC boss man.
I think he is an outstanding businessman. I don't necessarily agree with the way he does things, but I mean, obviously, he's built UFC, into a phenomenal company. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But I don't think he knows anything about martial arts. I think he's, I don't think he knows anything about fighting. I think he's a fan. So I have differences.
Chatri goes on to talk about his martial arts training, the fact that he's also a BJJ brown belt, and how he doesn't like or respect the way that Dana talks down to athletes. Chatri is 51 years old, while White is 52. Both have been in the fight business for quite a long time. Dana as an executive for much longer. And again, while he isn't exactly calling Dana out, Chatri said he would be open to a fight against him. What do you make of Chatri keeping the door open to a potential fight between him and Dana White? And what do you think about his comments on how White deals with his fighters? Jorge Masvidal, the betting underdog in Colby Covington fight for now. With the announcement that Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal will finally clash inside the octagon at UFC 272 on March 5th, sportsbooks have been busy taking bets. It looks as though Colby is opening as the betting favorite at -330, while Masvidal is the underdog at +260. Covington and Masvidal used to be roommates and training partners at American Top Team, but the pair have had an acrimonious relationship for a few years now, leading to Colby joining MMA Masters as both rose to the top of the welterweight division. As far as UFC rankings go, Colby is still number 1 for the welterweights, while Masvidal sits at number 6. But both have fought champion Kamaru Usman for the welterweight title twice, with Colby losing his first fight by KO, then by unanimous decision in the rematch, while Masvidal took a decision loss first and was knocked out in a rematch with the champ. What we do know for this fight is that the buildup is going to be electric. That's why we asked you who will win this fight at UFC 272. And after 17,000 of you voted, it looks like an overwhelming majority, 75%, feel that Colby will beat Masvidal in this highly anticipated bout. This is what some of you had to say. Remember last time Jorge fought, he was knocked out very badly. That damages a fighter horribly. Look at Frankie Edgar. Yeah, true, but you could also say that about Colby Covington the last time he fought Usman, and he came back pretty strong after that. Here's another comment. Masvidal is one-dimensional when he fights. He strikes with the sidekick. Covington has many weapons, plus crazy stamina and great wrestling. Good luck trying to beat Colby, Masvidal. Colby's stamina is incredible. He's been in deep waters and can certainly go the distance. Here's another comment. I definitely respect Colby as a fighter off and on the cage, but I have this feeling that Jorge can finish him or by split decision. I don't know, but I hope one of them don't pull out. Yup, at the end of the day, we all just want to see this fight actually take place. Here's hoping for no injuries, no lockdowns, and no picograms. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, take a gander at the community tab on our channel. Also, let us know in the comments what are your thoughts about Colby opening up as the betting favorite over Masvidal. And do you agree? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the latest fight news. Giga Chikadze calls Alexander the Great a little chump for taking the easy route against the Korean zombie. Oh snap, Giga Chikadze learned English, and it turns out he's a bit of a trash talker. The Georgia native has been on a tear since entering the UFC in 2019, going undefeated in all 7 of his fights. He's been climbing up the UFC featherweight rankings, sitting right now at number 8, as he gets set to take on number 5 ranked Calvin Kattar this Saturday at UFC on ESPN 32 at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. But Chikadze is calling out the division champion, Alexander Volkanovski, for taking on the Korean zombie, choosing him to replace Max Holloway for their UFC 273 clash in April, after Max fell out due to an injury. Chikadze believes that Volko is taking the easy way out by agreeing to fight Chan Sung Jung in April for the pay-per-view main event. Case in point, during his media day conference this week, this is what the Georgia native had to say.
Yeah, that's a little chump, you know, he's taking the easy task. The Korean zombie has probably like 7-5 from the last 7 fights. He is 4-3. I'm on a roll. I'm a 7-0 since I got into UFC. So how can you avoid me?
Chikadze is on a 9-fight winning streak, 7 of them in the UFC, and his last 3 were TKO finishes, including a 3rd-round finish of Edson Barboza in his last outing in August. Still, Chikadze would have to keep the momentum going in order to be in the conversation as a potential title contender, and an impressive showing against Kattar on Saturday would go a long way in doing just that. But what do you think of Chikadze's strong words against Volkanovski? And how do you think this Saturday's fight between Kattar and Chikadze will go? Deiveson Figueiredo is playing mind games as he brings Henry Cejudo in his corner for Brandon Moreno rematch. While many are waiting with bated breath for the heavyweight title unification bout later this month at UFC 270, the event will also be featuring another highly anticipated title fight, a trilogy fight between flyweight champion Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. The first clash between the two took place at UFC 256 in December 2020, which ended in a majority draw after points were deducted when Figueiredo delivered a nasty groin shot to Moreno. In the rematch, Moreno handled Figueiredo and submitted him by a rear naked choke in the 3rd to win the belt last June. Now, with the fight scheduled for January 22nd, Figueiredo is letting it be known that he plans on having Moreno's former training partner, Henry Cejudo, in his corner to not only play mind games and get in Moreno's head, but because of a betrayal that supposedly took place. Figueiredo said as much in a recent interview on a Portuguese language podcast. This is what he had to say. Brandon Moreno is dirty. That's all I have to say about him. He's dirty. He's a traitor. When I came to Scottsdale, Arizona at the Fight Ready gym, Henry Cejudo told me about his betrayal. He lived with Henry Cejudo here and then became Joseph Benavidez' sparring partner to fight Cejudo. So that was his biggest betrayal. That's why Cejudo is coming with me to the fight to look into his eyes. Cejudo will be in my corner to look at this little punk's face and I'll knock him out. Mark my words. Figueiredo has done an entire fight camp with Cejudo and Captain Eric in Arizona and has really developed a bond with Triple C, whom he once believed he would fight against. For his part, Moreno hasn't responded to any of these claims. What do you think about Figueiredo having Cejudo in his corner for the Brandon Moreno fight? Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. See you next time.